Good day, everyone. Welcome to Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 72, season 3. Today's date is October 30th, 2021. I have an interesting show coming up. Today, I will discuss my Halloween memories in Chicago. Most of the memories will be good, it will be bad, and funny as well. Mostly bad, not bad in terms of horrific or traumatic, somewhat traumatic, but we'll see. I will discuss further in the episode. Right now, the show will go into a commercial break, and this program is brought to you by Woolworth and Wilco. Here is a Halloween commercial from the 1970s. Enjoy, everybody.
Make Halloween fun with one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Wilco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, superheroes, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and a new favorite for girls, Holly Hobby. You can get wrapped candies of every kind, bubblegum, lollipops, fun-sized candy bars. Get this Halloween record, sounds to make you shiver, just $1.89. Make Halloween fun and easy. Make just one stop at Woolworth or Wilco.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial for Woolworth and Wilco. They were advertising candy, Halloween costumes. Oh, that's a beautiful era at that time. Growing up as a kid, looking forward to Halloween and receiving candy from going from door to door from in your neighborhood. I love that part of Halloween. That's one of my favorites. Excuse me. Right now, I will discuss my memories of Halloween growing up in Chicago. As I said earlier in the program, it would be good, it would be bad, it'd be funny, but it's a mixed bag. So, and also it's not traumatic, but maybe a little bit. So, I will describe my memories, and you will understand. First off, my family grew up in South Shore on the south side of Chicago, and we lived there for about 7 years. The first couple memories of Halloween, I was about 3 or 4, and we lived in an apartment building on the second floor. And across the street, not across the street, excuse me, across the hall of our apartment building, my mother and I were on our way to the grocery store to pick up some items, and the neighbor's door had a skeleton, and it was made out of cardboard. The first time I saw that skeleton, I was scared stiff. I screamed, screamed and ran and cried. I didn't want to go outside. Oh, that was the traumatic part. My mom she felt terrible. But the problem was, she had to do her errands and she had to take me. There was nobody to take care of me at the time. She raised me and my brothers all alone while my father worked at nights at the Conrad Hilton Hotel. And she hardly had any help, babysitting all that, unless it was an emergency. But luckily, the apartment had a back porch. So we had to use the back porch to go places. And facing our apartment building with the back porch was a cab company, and that was on South Exchange Avenue, right near 75th Street in South Shore. And the IC train, which was the Illinois Central train, right now it's Metro, didn't make much noise when we lived there, but it was cool to see the train there. And in other words, we had to go in the back porch until Halloween was over, because my mom wasn't going to go next door and complain and ask those people to take down the skeleton because I was petrified looking at it, but she wouldn't do that. So that was just temporary. And I don't know if that happened every Halloween, because we lived in that apartment building on Colfax Avenue for about 4 years. And I think I just remember once. Another memory of Halloween, which was a little traumatic, was on the corner of 75th Street and Exchange was a Walgreens, and next door was a called Scott Five and 10 store. It was a five and dime store, and one time we were on our way to one of our friends' house. They lived on Saginaw Avenue, and we passed by the display window of the Walgreens, and I saw the Halloween mask, and oh, that was awful, awful. I just screamed. I hated that. I hated that when I was a kid. It was terrible. There were witches' masks, ghosts, goblins, vampires, werewolves. Oh, you know. So every time we passed by the store display, I think I shut my eyes tight, or my mom would cover it. But I did that by myself, and it was horrible. I knew they were there, but even though I had my eyes closed, oh, I had nightmares for days for that. And another memory of Halloween was my aunt and uncle lived in the neighborhood at the time. They had four boys, and they owned a grocery store on the corner of 75th and Colfax. And one of my cousins was wearing a Halloween costume. And I went to visit there, and I saw him. I didn't get scared at first, but he pounced on me. And I was frightened, and I was screaming. And I ran out of the store, headed toward the railroad tracks on Exchange Avenue, and on Exchange Avenue, that is. And then luckily, you know, no trains were coming on, but there was a witness there, and it was a friend of my mother's. She says, "Look, I'm not going to report this because that a child ran over, was going towards the tracks, and she suggested, that my mom would speak to my aunt about it. She didn't, so because that's how she was, and that was it. But I really don't remember that, not really, unless my mother's told me that story about. But I guess I was scared, and I probably put it out of my mind. So growing up little in Chicago for Halloween, that was awful, and then it got not worse, but about the same during grade school. What I remember dressing up for Halloween was there was one costume. It was Woody Woodpecker. My mother bought that uh, when I was 6 or 7. But that time we moved to the Roseland neighborhood, and my father owned the property. We lived above the shoe store. We lived in an apartment, and the schools said that we're going to have a Halloween party. So I told my mother when I came home from school, I got to buy a costume. I didn't like it, but I had to. So we walked down Michigan Avenue and we went to Kresge's. It was almost next door to, well, not really next door. There were a couple of stores. It was Malling Shoes, and there was a bakery, and right near Gately's People Store. So we went to Kresge's, which was one of my favorite stores at the time, because I used to buy those paperback of Peanuts, Charlie Brown. I used to read those all the time. I begged my mom to buy those, and I love them. And also, she bought us candy, and I remember they had hot dogs and snow cones. Anyway, so she bought the costume. She asked me which one I want to buy, and I didn't want to buy anything scary. So she suggested something a little happy. So I saw Woody Woodpecker, and I remember watching Woody Woodpecker on TV. So she bought it. We took it home. I tried it on. I don't know if she took a picture of it. I hope she did. I don't think she did. It looked pretty cool. It looked nice. And so the next day was Halloween. The school bus picked us up, my brother and I. My little brother didn't go to school yet. He was very young. So we went to, we attended Correas Elementary School. This was located in South Shore at 74th and Stony Island at the time. And I wasn't scared at all. I didn't really see scary costumes, and it was kind of fun. I liked that. And we got candy. They had, I don't remember bobbing for apples. Probably not. I don't know about carving pumpkins. We never did that. I never learned. My mother never did that stuff. She didn't understand. She never liked Halloween. She that's not it's not a holiday she praises. You know. Excuse me. Then so that was a fun part of Halloween. I dressed up. Also, when we moved to Ashburn neighborhood in '74, I started doing trick or treating. I didn't do trick or treating in Roseland because it was a business there. So I was, you had to go to a couple blocks to go to homes. My mom didn't allow that. So in 1974, we moved to Ashburn and we moved into our first house. And I started going trick or treating around the neighborhood. That was a lot of fun. I don't remember the costumes I had, but some of the neighbors were very nice. Some were real strange, and some were grumpy, and got a lot of candy. I didn't receive any apples or strange items, because you heard stories like sometimes people put razor blades in apples, or sometimes the candy is tainted, but that doesn't happen. But I loved getting the candy. Oh, there were so many beautiful, delicious things, like Milky Way, Snickers, M&Ms, uh, Good and Plenty, Baby Ruth, Butterfingers. Butterfingers, that's not, I don't like that candy bar. I don't know why. I love peanut butter. I can eat peanut butter every day, all day. There's something about that candy bar I don't like. I don't know. Maybe it's the way they manufacture it. I don't know. I still won't eat it. And it was great receiving all the candy from our neighbors. It was beautiful. I love that. And I probably stopped trick or treating probably about the age of 11 or 12. Yeah, I guess I stopped that. And I remember kids also did trick or treating. They didn't have like Halloween bags, they had their pillowcases. That was weird. But it's a good container, it holds a lot of stuff. I never did that. So we did have Halloween parties still at school, but I didn't dress up much. I think it was an option. You didn't have to do that. By the time I graduated at Correas, which moved to Palos Hills, before that we were in a temporary place at Damon Avenue on the south side near 83rd Street. 7th and 8th grade, the new church was built and the new school, and we didn't do much trick-or-treating, Halloween parties. We might have had a party, something like that. But I don't know, it was low key, so I don't think we did anything like that at all. No. And then high school came at Bogan. Nobody dressed up really. I saw maybe a few kids did, but I never did. And we probably had parties, or I know kids pulled pranks. I know they did that. Sometimes you saw shaving cream on the cars outside the parking lot, or eggs, something like that. That's a Halloween tradition. Not very. It's messy and silly to me. So that was about it. So at my age, I'm 58 years old, and it looks ridiculous for me to dress up now. No, I mean, if people want to do that at my age or older, go ahead. Just leave me out of it. I won't do it. It's too much work. Not interested. Anyway, some other memories I will talk about is watching television. That's the good part. I like that. Some bad, some not some bad, but some a little scary. Some of the movies and TV shows I remember when I was little. The first thing I saw something scary was the TV soap opera Dark Shadows. And when I saw parts of the show, it was scary enough. I saw Barnabas Collins. The first time I saw Barnabas Collins in the show was not on the show, but they had a TV commercial. They had a board game, the Dark Shadows board game, and it was made by Moulton Bradley. And that was the first time I saw Jonathan Frid, who played Barnabas Collins, bare his fangs. Oh, that was awful. I like that. Now I look at it and I see it on YouTube. It's nothing. So But I was still intrigued by that show. I really was. And then when the show ended in 1971, it didn't go into syndication for quite a while. In Chicago, it started around 75, 75, 76, and it aired 11 o'clock in the evening or 11:30 on WFLD TV, Channel 32. And, I was excited to watch that, but I was scared at the same time. And I'm looking forward to it. And then they didn't start in the beginning. They started when Barnabas Collins was released from his coffin. Or I think when he made his first appearance, arriving at Collinwood at the home. And I watched that. Um, I got a little nervous when I saw him or when he tried to bite somebody, but I was okay. I was okay. But it was short lived. And they yanked it out of syndication. I don't know the reason. So it would have been years since I see it, that I would watch it again. Excuse me. Well, then when cable came, there was an announcement that the Sci-Fi Channel would broadcast the entire series. The funny thing is, I lived in Chicago at the time. I didn't move to the suburbs until 1995. So I had no access of that. When I did move to the suburbs around November 1995, we got cable. And the Sci-Fi Channel was included. So as soon as I found out, I had my VCR connected to my television set, and I started recording it. And I think the first episode was when there was, what was her name? Her name was Vicky. I couldn't think of her last name. And she was the governess of the mansion, and she was at a seance, and then she was traveled back in time. Oh, Victoria Winters, that was her name. And she was in the year 1795, and that was the first episode I taped. And that's where all the actors were portraying all their ancestors, and that was fun. And so I started recording the entire series, and when I came home from work, I started watching it. They show 2 episodes per day, Monday through Friday. And then I watched the whole thing to the end, and then I couldn't wait to watch the beginning. So they did the second cycle, and they started the first episode, and I watched the black and white. Barnabas did not appear; he appeared much later, and it didn't get scary until maybe a few episodes later. It was atmospheric, and so from that first episode all the way to the end, about over 1,200 episodes, I watched the entire series. And I did that for another cycle, and then they yanked the show off. I forgot what year. So when the show was available on DVD, I bought the whole series, and I've watched it ever since. And I still have it. I've watched the entire series 3 times. Hopefully, I'll do another one. I love the show now. I'm just addicted. It's wonderful. Okay. Another thing I watched on television was Creature Features. I remember the first I used to watch it on Saturday nights. So did everyone in Chicago. The first episode was the 1931 movie Dracula and the 1944 movie She-Wolf of London. Now, that movie was not scary, but Dracula, he didn't make me scared. I loved him. He didn't bear his fangs, but it's still a wonderful movie. I love it. It's one of my favorite monster movies. And also, I watched Frankenstein, Wolfman. What else? The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And that premiered in September 1970 on WGN-TV Channel 9, and it ran until 1976, which the last episode was the 1931 movie Dracula. And people love that show, that showcased all the horror movies from Universal. And of course, there was also Screaming Yellow Theater that showed a lot of low-budget scary movies. It was hosted by Jerry G. Bishop. That premiered the day before on September 18th, 1970. And I remember watching a few movies. There was a few movies that made me uncomfortable. somewhat. On Channel 2, I remember there was Blood of Dracula. I Was a Teenage Frankenstein. I Was a Teenage Werewolf. Sorry, Marco Landon. That one was good. So I can watch old movies today. I love them. I have them on DVD, but I don't like scary movies today because it's too bloody, too. It's awful. I don't like dismemberment. It's I like to be scared, not to be disgusted. So, a couple movies that still makes me don't want to watch, like Jaws. It's not. It's a horror movie in a way, but I saw it in the theater at Fort City. Still refuse to watch it. I saw it once. Also, Friday the 13th, the first one that came out in 1980. It was one of the first slasher movies. I don't like it. I can't watch it. It's too bloody. You still do that? Or there was 1996 movie Scream. I have not seen it. I don't want to see it. I don't intend to. I don't. I just like old scary movies. That's enough for me. One of my favorite TV shows now, and I first watched it when I was a kid, was The Night Stalker, that starred Darren McGavin. It was based on two TV movies. The first one aired in 1974, and it was about a vampire in Las Vegas. And so I don't want to spoil the ending, but well, I will spoil it because Carl Kolchak, that's who Darren McGavin played. He killed him, and that was a good one. It was one of the highest rated movies at that time, TV movies that is. And then the second one was The Knight Strangler. That was about Jack the Ripper in Seattle. They changed the location. Then when it went in series in 1974, they had the setting in Chicago, and I used to love watching that show with all the locations. Even though the show was filmed in Los Angeles, but that was a great show. I remember some episodes. There was a female vampire. There was one where there was Helen of Troy. She had a computer dating service, and when people went in, they aged her clients, and there were a lot of great episodes like that. There was one with a medieval knight. There was a guy on a motorcycle. He was headless. Spanish moss murders, all kinds of things. They had a werewolf episode. They had there was one that featured Eric Estrada. He was sacrificing his body for like an Aztec god. So they made 20 episodes, but then it was canceled. And then it went into syndication, and I used to watch the show on Channel 2, WBBM, on the 10:30 and the CBS Late Movie, and I loved it. I got hooked on that. I didn't get scared of it. There was one episode where they had a demon, and when college kids kiss a demon, they kiss a girl, and he turned into a demon. Oh, that was awful. I had nightmares for that day. So, The Night Stalker is still one of my favorites. I bought it on DVD, but now it's released on Blu-ray, and I tend to buy it. So I heard the preview of the preview episodes on the show. I bet it looks gorgeous. So I can't wait to buy that. That was one of my favorites. Okay, so Halloween today, I tolerate it. When that day comes tomorrow on Sunday, I'm okay with that. But 99% of the time, I'm fine. 1%, I'm nervous and a little agitated. So I just when November 1st comes on Monday, I'm relieved and it's gone. Okay. So that'll be all for today. Right now, I want to say one more thing. This past Wednesday, I went to see my urologist, and he told me I'm cancer free. And this is the best news I've heard. I've had I've had prostate cancer for now almost 2 years. I had the operation in April 2020. It was a success. Went into radiation afterwards. I'm still recovering. I still have a little issues with the bathroom, but I'm doing all right. So I take a hormone therapy pill every day. So the doctor said on Wednesday, "You're doing fine. I will see you in 6 months, but you're doing excellent." And so I spread the word on social media to my family, friends, and my fans of Fan of Chicagoland. They're very pleased. Thank you for your comments and your kind words. I love you all, and thank God I am alive. I'm going to live for a long time. I'm so happy. Okay, that'll be all for today. This is episode 72, season 3 Vanishing Common Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Castanes. I won't do a podcast episode tomorrow because I will be going to church and to celebrate my wonderful news. Hopefully, I'll do a podcast episode on Tuesday. I'll see on the subject what I'll discuss. It'll be very interesting. Okay, so this is bye bye for now for me, and here is Ray Rayner. Bye bye for now. Take care, everybody. So long. And have a happy Halloween. Woo!
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.